last week I had a talk with one of the kids that I train. He's 12 years old, and he had a really bad loss at a tournament that he played. He had he was beat up by a kid that he thought that he was going to actually win the match. So this was his first really bad beat up competing in a tournament. And that is something that happens to everyone. If you compete at everything, there's gonna be a time where you're gonna have a really bad loss that is gonna be very, very, very painful. That is something that happens to everybody, even the best athletes, at least at the beginning when you're starting to compete. So we were talking about it because he was really concerned. It's something that really hurt him emotionally deep. It kind of shook his beliefs that he had about himself. It shook what he was shaken about, how it happened, how he reacted, how useless he felt, even though he tried different things during the match, trying to change it, trying to fight back, and he just couldn't. He said, I tried 1, 2, 3, 4 different things, different game plans, and nothing seemed to work. And there are gonna be days like that. There are gonna be days where things are not going your way, and it doesn't matter how much you try, it doesn't matter how many different game plans you try, things are not gonna be the way you want them to be. So he changed the game plan, and nothing worked. He tried to stay calm, and staying calm, nothing worked. And in the end, he lost his head a little bit, because simply put, nothing was going his way. And things happen in life. Sometimes they happen like that, and we have to be able. I told him, I said, what happened to you, it's a very painful experience, but this, in a certain way, this is kind of a blessing if you look at it from a different perspective. Why? Because this is something that making you see the thing that you're facing, the kind of pain that you're gonna have to put up if you really want to improve. This is when you look at something that hurts you so much and make you doubt yourself and make you rethink the beliefs that you had about yourself, something that really tests your self-language, something that really puts you to the test. It's emotionally, it can really put us down. But once the initial wave of pain and anger and uncertainty and doubt and fear passes, we have to be able to look at it and say, okay, this is something that if I know how to handle it, it can give me the kind of feedback that I need. This is something that can give me the kind of feedback that I need, because this is how painful things can get, and even more. And seeing how I respond to this situation is gonna be a good measure. It's gonna be a good measurement of where I am standing right now. This is pretty much, it's like life showing you the situation that really hurts you a lot, the situation that you really hate, this thing that you will never want to face again. Well, don't look at it like a nightmare for a second. Don't look like it like the worst thing that could happen to you today, but instead look at it like saying, if you would have to face this situation again, what would you do different? If you would have to face this situation again, do you think that you will be a little more ready in the future? If you think about, let's say that you think about facing it in a couple of months, or in a couple of weeks, or in a couple of years. And you know that this same monster that you had to face today is going to show up again. And there are going to be monsters that are going to be even worse than this one. That's a fact. So if you have serious long-term plans and sticking to the thing that you're doing right now, and you're saying, I'm not going away. I'm sticking to my plans. I'm gonna keep fighting for this thing that I want to do, whatever it is. You know that it's gonna present again in the future, and you know that you have to prepare. You know that you have to prepare yourself for it. This time it took you by surprise. It was the first time. Once you're beaten down badly the first time and you don't see it coming, the second time is not going to be the same. And the third time is not going to be the same. Doesn't mean that you're going to like it. But that just means that if you do the homework and you really pay attention to the things that you need to do as a response to that first beat down, to that first bad situation, you're minimizing a lot the chances of happening again. And let's say that it happens again, even if you're well prepared, is not the shock, the impact, the way you face it is going to be very different. You can be a very different person. Even in failure, when you're prepared, you can look at things from a very different perspective. And that's when you lose, when you hurt because you failed at something, but you start being able to look at the situation from a perspective that is showing you good things about your game, about your development, about the person that you're becoming and the goals that you have. When you're starting to see those things between all the fire and the destruction and all that, it's when you start facing fear and doubt and uncertainty and difficult situations in a calmer way, because you start kind of trusting yourself more. I already went through something that hurt me a lot, and I made it through it. So the next time that bull is coming at you, it's not gonna be the same. You're not gonna have the same fear in your eyes, and even when it hits you, it's not gonna take you the same time. You're not gonna take as long to get back up again. So you have to learn to look at life from the point of view. We have two choices. I can choose to see everything that happens around me and give it a negative. Every little thing that happens around me will have a negative meaning if I want to. If my self-language wants it like that and I allow it to happen. Or I can see everything that happens around me is every little thing that happens around me is just giving me feedback about the things that I need to improve, and the things that I'm already improving, that they have already improved. And I tell my clients, every time when you play tennis, every time you hit a tennis ball and you look at the ball, the path of the ball and the sound that you make, that the ball makes when you hit it, is giving you feedback. When you hit the ball too flat, too hard, and the ball flies crazy, well, it's just giving you the feedback that next time you have to slow it down, take some power off, and put more stop speed on it. And it's the same thing that happens in life. Every time you hit a tennis ball, every time you do something in life, if you look at it, it's gonna the way things happen is gonna give you feedback about the good things that can happen and about the bad things that you need to work on. Which way are you gonna choose to talk to yourself and pretty much will become like a permanent self-language? That's up to you. If it's the negative one, it's gonna bring you down. It's just gonna destroy you. If that's what you choose to, If you don't have the capacity to have the awareness to catch yourself when you're having that negative self-talk, you're really gonna be in trouble. You're gonna suffer a lot, and you're gonna have a really hard time improving your game. If you choose to say, okay, I'm gonna absorb the pain, I'm gonna take the hits, but I'm gonna have the capacity to see what I need to improve and the things that I have already improved. It's like I say in tennis again. You lose a point, you lose a match, you fail in life. You learn. You learn from it, you let it go, and then you move on. You learn from it, you let it go, and then you move on. Remember, the bad things, the really bad things that happen to you in life, not necessarily are nightmares that are never gonna go away. Many times, if we pay attention to how we are doing things, we might have the capacity to control a little better when they happen and how hard or how often they're gonna happen. And many times those nightmares can become actually the one thing that happens to you that says, that's enough. I need to change this, and this is my breakthrough. I hope it helps. I'll see you next time. Thank you.